Hey guys, Coach Edwards here, lacrossegoalietips.com and lacrossegoalieuniversity.com. Got a great question today from Brian Barry in our private Facebook group. So if you're not in the private Facebook group, you're going to want to check that out. It's creating the lacrosse goalie of the future, and you can just apply to be in there, answer a couple questions, and then we'll get you approved in there so you can see what we do. Every Wednesday at 3:30 Eastern Time, I do a Facebook Live, and you can submit your questions for that, and I try to answer them. Okay, and that's in addition to what I do with my clients at lacrossegoalieuniversity.com. So Brian asked a great question, and it goes, what is a checklist of things you look for when breaking down a goalie on film? Okay, so that's a great question, Brian. And so first and foremost, it always surprises me, a lot of surprises lately, basically, we have high definition video cameras in our pocket. Every kid now has a high definition video camera in their pocket, and nobody's really using them. It's like people don't want to be like that guy, right? Where they're videoing everything they're doing. And I'm like, why not? You know what? Listen, you got it, use it. When I was in junior high and high school, my mom had to show up with a big VHS, like freaking boombox, right, videoing all my games. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me. You can video games, practices, warm-ups, whatever. The more video you have, the more analysis you have that you can look at out of a stressful practice, the better you're going to be. Okay. So Brian, great question. So here's my tips. My tips on how to break down a lacrosse goalie on film. And the number one thing I look for is stance and readiness. Okay. What I find is there's a lot of good meaning goalies out there who just aren't really ready. You know, they're not necessarily in a good athletic stance before the shot comes. They're not prepared. And so balls go in when they're not really ready. Now, the flip side of that is you can have a goalie who's ready, but their stance may be a little bit extreme. I hate seeing young goalies who are trying to adopt a stance of a collegiate level goalie who's obviously a lot stronger in the hips and basically the upper leg and the low back, so that they can stand with a wider stance. That doesn't always work for younger kids. Conversely, some of those college kids are standing with really weird stances, and when you get far away from a base athletic stance, I've been preaching this for years, and I see coaches online stealing my stuff, talking about it, but basically you got to have a good, solid athletic stance. Nothing silly, nothing stupid, and you start there. So that's my first tip. Tip number 2 is positioning in the cage. I go into more detail on this inside our Lacrosse Goalie University membership area for our lacrosse goalie clients. But basically, is the goalie, are they centered on the ball? Are they more of an offensive goalie? Are they trying to dictate where the ball's going? Are they baiting the shooter, that sort of thing? And did that work or not? So that's tip number 2 is positioning. Number 3 goes back to my 3 keys to making any save, right? This is where we start to break down. So now the ball is on their way to the goalie. Well, did they see it? Did they know where it was going? And did they move in front of it? And so if you haven't watched that full video, you can head on over. I'll put a link here in the show notes, but also on YouTube, just 3 keys to any save, or on my website, lacrossegoalietips.com. Just go in the search bar and you can search for 3 keys, and you'll see that video as well. But basically, did they see it? Did they know where it was going, and did they move in front of it properly and efficiently? Okay, that's tip number 3. And then tip number 4, when a ball, it doesn't matter if a ball goes in the net or if a goalie makes a save. One of the things I look at is kind of like the recovery and the awareness of what just happened. So if a ball goes in a net and the goalie starts to like sulk, the goalie's in like a completely negative environment. And then what happens is that they're not really learning. And so one of the things that I teach my goalies to do is to get out of that negative environment really, really quickly, and kind of envision and visualize the positive experience of what you would have done had you made that save. The other side of it is that when a goalie makes a save, sometimes I see goalies who make a save and they just kind of strut around and they think they're hot, you know what I'm going to say. But the truth is that you can grade every save just like you can grade every goal that goes against you. So like if you make a save and you bobble it, or it's kind of, you're not real clean with it, you can grade that save and say like, yes, I saved the ball, but how could I have made that cleaner? because one of the things, you know, a little bit of psychological warfare that a lacrosse goalie has is to basically, if you take a hard shot and make it look easy, man, that just sucks the energy out of the shooter. Okay, so the more you can do that, the better. All right, so Barry, those are the 4 things I look for there when I'm breaking down film on a lacrosse goalie. And like I said, for my Lacrosse Goalie University members, I go into more detail on this, on just what to look for and how to really dig in. But this should give you enough to start. So thanks a lot. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be out next week with a new video. And also, if you haven't already, every Wednesday, 3:30 Eastern time, I do Facebook Lives inside of our new Facebook group for 2019. So it's called Creating the Lacrosse Goalie of the Future. There'll be a link below this video, but if you just go into Facebook and Google that, come on in. There's some great stuff in there, great conversations, and good people. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next week. Cheers. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube or on our website, do me a favor and like the video, share it, subscribe it if you would. And also, if you're on iTunes, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I put original content on iTunes. I do extra podcasts and things like that that you won't just see on the YouTube channel or on the blog. So be sure you subscribe over there. And listen, every week I put out new content as well as in our private Facebook group at Creating the Lacrosse Goalie of the Future. All the links to all the resources I talked about today will be in the show notes below. So if you're on your phone on iTunes, you'll be able to link to them there, as well as if you're on the blog or on YouTube, you'll see them there as well. If you got a question for me, feel free to email me, coachedwards@lacrossegoalietips.com, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.